Yeah, it's on. Okay.
Okay. I'm Elsa Rossi. I'm organizing things in Europe for many, many years. I like to see everyone together. I don't want to see people lonely in their countries. So we can exchange idea, things that we need, perhaps material, information. So we can help each other in this way to be together. And English is the only way that you can communicate with a lot of people that doesn't speak Portuguese or don't speak their languages. There are Esperanto as well, but no, it's not all the countries that speak Esperanto. So English language can unite us in the same way as other countries are really struggling to organize their meetings in their own ways lonely. For example, Philippines people, they are only between them. Sometimes they can join one or another meeting, but they want to see how it works together. Different cultures, different countries, and we are together here now. So this is my main purpose. From London, UK.
Okay. Elsa Lee, please.
Yes, I'm from Galway, Ireland. I am a member of Spiritist, Galway Spiritist group, and I think we are two of us, Alan there as well. And main purpose is again to share knowledge, to support each other and togetherness. I'm very grateful for being here. Thank you.
Thank you. Ingo, please.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. Ingo Meyer here from Munich, Germany, and I'm very happy to be here and to be with you for this hour and the next one.
Thank you, Ingo. Bianca.
Hello, my name is Bianca. I am representing Romanian Spiritist Society. And how the other one said, I want to share with all of us all the Spiritist experience and to gain fraternity and to help each other in everything that we need to be more helpful each other. Thank you. I'm grateful to be here. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you, Bianca. Thomas, please.
Yep. So I'm Thomas. I'm from Belgium, part in the group of Jean-Paul here in Liège. And I was there 1 year ago when we were in Wigimont, so we appreciated it. And as Jean-Paul couldn't attend it, I wanted to be there in order to give some feedback if needed.
Good, good. Regina, please.
Hi, hello.
Hello.
We are from Portugal, Nuno and Regina. We cooperate in the association, the Spiritist Association in our town. We work with children for a long time. We have a TV program in the TV Spiritist. We have it on internet, on YouTube and Facebook. So we talk about everything that has to do with us, with our culture, with the Spiritists. So and we are trying to gather people to come to Portugal one of these years, days. I don't know when it will be possible to talk about education. All right, and that's it.
Okay.
Good, good. Don't say it that loud to go to Portugal, please. Karen, you're next.
Thanks. Hello, everyone. My name is Karen. Originally, I'm German. I've been living in Brussels, Belgium, for nearly a year now. And I joined these meetings because I love this exchange between people here in Europe. And as Elsa said in the very beginning, I'd like to engage in this movement of English-speaking Spiritists to bring Spiritism or the Spiritist teachings to people here in Europe in a language that is more easier for most of them to understand. And very happy to learn with all of you and exchange and find ways how we can spread the word a bit more here in Europe. Thank you.
Alice, please, you're next.
My name is Alice. I'm Brazilian, and now I'm living also in Brussels. And I'm very, very pleased to be here with you guys and learning a little more, exchange our experience. I'm very glad to be here. Thank you.
Adam, Val, please.
Hi, Adam and Val.
Hi.
We're in Oxfordshire in the UK. We run Kardec Group, which is 2 Spiritist groups. One of them is the group of Windsor and Maidenhead, and the other one is Bicester, which is where we actually live. And yeah, we're taking part because, again, like everyone else has already said, good to be part of a nice European fellowship of people thinking alike.
Thanks, good. Charles, please. You're on mute, Charles.
You're on mute.
Yes, you are right. Hello, everyone. So I'm Charles Kempf, French, living in France, Belfort, close to Mulhouse, and something like 35 years reading and studying Spiritism. President of the French Spiritist Federation, a member also of the French-speaking Spiritist movement with Jean-Paul and Thomas, and also working in a small Spiritist group in the region here, Centre d'études Spirit in Denis. And I'm here to listen, to learn from you, and also to help wherever I can help.
Good, thank you, Charles. Jir, please. You're on mute, my friend.
No, can you listen to me now?
Yeah.
Hi, everybody. My name is Edir. My last name is Paixão, Edir Paixão. I'm from Brazil, from Northeast, hot weather around here. And I'm a military fireman here in Brazil. The firemen are military. And I work strongly on suicide prevention and interventions here. And the Spiritism has helped me a lot, to help people in Brazil, to think differently about their lives. I'm very glad to be here with you, and I'm already a friend of some people who are already in the room. So I hope to share experiences and learn a lot with you, friends.
Good, thank you. Nadja, please.
Hi, everybody. I'm Nadja. I'm from Brazil, but I'm living in Lithuania. I'm half Lithuanian, half Brazilian. So I'm here to spread the Spiritism in Lithuania. We have nothing here, basically. No books, nothing in Lithuanian, but slowly we are translating some phrases from Chico Xavier, Divaldo Franco, Allan Kardec. And slowly we are creating a group as well. So we have 2 Brazilians, 1 Lithuanian, me, 3 Brazilians and 1 Lithuanian girl. And then we are joining on Thursdays evening to study Spiritism together. So thank you for this meeting. It's very nice to meet you all. Hi, Adam and Val. Hi, Elsa, the people I know. Thank you.
Good, thank you, Nadja. Anne Sinclair, please.
Sorry. Hello, good evening, everybody. My name is Anne, or Anna, depending whichever you prefer. I have 2 birth certificates, so I have an identity problem. Yes, I've been living in London for just over 30 years. And I started studying Spiritism when I arrived in London. I used to study at the Allan Kardec study group with Janet, which was a little group. And just thinking about the lack of books in other countries, just remember 30 years ago, the Gospel according to Spiritism was just starting to be published. We had pieces of paper with translations on it. And now 30 years later, it's a completely different scenario. So when the time is right, everything will go. And I feel very connected to talking about Spiritism through Europe and using English as an international language that we can access different places, and hoping that people who are out on their own or in very small groups don't feel alone, but feel that they're part of a bigger family. And that's the name of our group in London, the Spiritist Family Group.
Great, thank you. Fabrizio?
Hello, everybody. My name is Fabrizio. I live in South England. I've been living in England for 16 years. And I'm very happy to be part of this European family, so that where we can share our work, the things that we're doing, so that we feel that we belong to a big community and not by ourselves. So it's a really great pleasure to be here with all of you.
Thank you, Fabrizio. Alan?
Yeah, my name is Alan. I'm from Brazil as well. And I'm living in Ireland around 5 years. At the moment, I'm living in Galway. And as I said, I also be a member of the Spiritism Galway group. And I hope to share the knowledge as well with all of you and share the knowledge about Spiritism, and also how can we spread the message around our meetings or group of friends, and so how can we use all of these tools for take the best of this. I think that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Alan. Becca, you made it. You're on mute, Becca. Please unmute yourself.
Okay. Okay. I made it. Well, I'm from Finland. We have about 10 years. We have a Spirits book, the first book of Allan Kardec, and we have been some small groups studying here in Finland. And I'm happy to manage to join you. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Becca. Thank you. Rejean, next, please.
Hi, everybody. My name is Rojani Plana. I'm living in Austria, near Vienna, some 40 kilometers from Vienna, since 1989. And my interest in the group is because we have two tasks here in Vienna, in the Spiritism area. That means we have the center, a Spiritist center in Vienna, and we also hold meetings and guide meetings in the Czech Republic and Slovakia. In all those years, we have 18 years in those two countries, Slovakia and Czech, and almost 30 years in Vienna. What we see is very few native people. It means a few Austrians come to the meeting, and when they come, they don't stay longer. Then it's very important to share and understand how people in Ukraine, in Ireland, and other countries, how you see the study of the Spiritist doctrine, and how you feel in going to centers, or what how you organize yourselves. I think I can learn a lot with you and maybe improve our experience here. In my former life, I was nuclear engineer. I retired 4 years ago. I'm a consultant now. Bye. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Now we have Tanya. Tanya, you are the next.
Hi, my name's Tanya. I'm based in the west of Ireland. I'm normally in Dublin, but due to COVID-19, I'm down in on the west coast. And I am connected in with the Spiritist Society of Ireland, with Stephen and many others. I was also part of a couple of Spiritist groups in London for many, many years as well. So I'm here to basically learn from other experiences in other European countries around how the adaptation, I think, to me is particularly interesting, the adaptation of Spiritism to local cultures.
Thank you, Tanya. And I'm the last one, so I'm Stephen. I live in Ireland for more than 11 years. I'm part of the Spiritist Society of Ireland group. I'm here because I want to learn how to talk about Spiritism to let's say non-Brazilian people. Learn exactly what Tanya said, to see how Spiritism adapt with different cultures. Okay, since Pekka is here with us, so I give the lead to him. Pekka, we are just following the agenda. We did the initial prayer, and we used the initial message to let everyone to introduce themselves. So he's with you, my friend. Thank you.
Okay. Well, I don't have too many things to say. I'm happy that this group seems to be growing a lot. An objective of this meeting initially was that we will see each other's, we learn from each other's, and we pray together, and we do together learning process which helps us to proceed and progress in our Spiritist activities in our different locations. So I think that this information change and discussions what we have, I hope that this will be useful. I don't have too many words more. So thank you, Stephen. You have been helping a lot. And I know that it not has been so easy either. And I think that we can start now with Charles' discussion regarding what is Spiritism. And I understood that in its initial message, it was already read it by Elsa. Is it so?
No, the message now, Elsa going to read the message, and after the Elsa, we can go to Charles.
Okay.
Just some housekeeping here. I see everyone doing this, so if you don't speak, please keep your mic on mute mode, because this will avoid everyone to not understand. Okay. And just a reminder, as we agreed at the beginning of the meeting, Pekka, we are recording this session. Everybody agreed. And then later we can post this meeting to other people who couldn't join us, especially people from Philippines. They're looking forward, but now it's about 3 o'clock in the morning for them, so they cannot make it.
Okay. Okay, it's okay for me, this recording.
Okay.
If it's
okay, Elsa, I will share my screen here with the message, and you can read. Okay.
Everybody can please.
Sorry, Pekka, it might be worth saying that potentially it may be shared in the public domain, not just within a closed group.
Yes. Okay, we had discussion or email. We were changing email regarding that topic, and according to law, what we have in Finland, so if we take video from somebody so that you can recognize him, so before it can be located publicly, for example, for YouTube or for some how to say social media. So as well, I understood in Finland they should be requested permission for that. So for that reason, I was suggesting to Stephen that I think it's a good idea to record and share these meetings so people can get known and they can maybe get motivated to join us. But according to Finnish law, it must be requested approval for that. And that's, if everybody agree, then it's fine. I think it's good.
Perhaps it's better record only audio, and put something and leave only the audio. if something will create problem later on, it's better don't do without really following all the. For me, it's okay. I don't think it's any problem with my image, but I don't think there are not Finnish people here. Only you or.
I'm only, and I'm just thinking the future. So in Finland we are shy.
No. Can I just say, it's the law in the UK as well. You can't share people's images unless they've given written consent.
Yeah, it's
so
okay,
it's a question of order that maybe we need to think of a disclaimer.
Yeah. Are you convert these into audio, and we only share the audio?
Yeah, we just need to be aware of the law and how, like, if you go to a conference, something you sign a piece of paper saying you're happy that your image is shared.
We can
But,
discuss.
I mean,
we can discuss this for the next meeting. For this meeting specifically, we only share the audio. If we will do an image, we can prepare some material for next meeting. We can distribute the material earlier, and we can go ahead.
We have here as a form consent that we have done with the 30 children. All their voices are already signed, the form consent form, and any images. So I can send the model for everyone in English. If you're allowed, it's okay. If you're not, say no.
Good,
so
Elsa, please.
When you start to record, you can take your image out of the video. You can put no camera, because you have stop video, for example. I will stop my video now. You can see me now, only my picture, yes? But even picture, you can take picture out, okay?
Okay. So Elsa, I think everybody can see my screen. Elsa, your first page is on the screen.
Yeah, we have our...
I would like, may I?
Yes.
Rajani here. I would prefer only the presentations be recorded, because then we can freely discuss all the items and don't go to the internet or Facebook or everything.
I 100% agree. I'll be sharing differently if it's going to just this within this group or within, a closed group compared to in the public domain, to be honest.
We are in Europe. Sorry. But I think this is a good idea, and I think that we can later on come back to this topic. I believe. I like the idea, and step by step.
Yeah, I agree. Step by step, and we need to think it through properly and make a process.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that I can read now? Yeah. Living by faith. The righteous will live by faith. Paul, Romans 1:17. In the Romans epistle, Paul affirms that the righteous will live by faith. Many disciples wrongly interpreted it. They understood that living by faith would be accomplishing rigorously external rituals of religious practices. By attending temples, harmonizing oneself with the priests, and respecting sectarian symbols, it would indicate the presence of a just person. However, it is not always that we see a good ritualist allied to a good person. Before anything else, it is necessary to be one of God's creatures in every circumstances of life. Paul of Tarsus wanted to say that a just person will always be devoted and will live invariably on genuine faithfulness to the Father who is in heaven. Have our days been joyful and tranquil? Then let us have a good memory and not to take moderation for granted. Nevertheless, if they bring darkness and sadness, so let us trust in God. Without His permission, a storm will not fall. Do we feel abandoned by the world? Let us be sure that the Father has never abandoned us. Do we have infirmities, delusionment, ingratitude, and even death has arrived? let us recognize that in fact they are all good friends because they bring us the opportunity to be righteous and to live by faith according to the sacred principles of Christianity. So for these messages, what I took is encouragement to have this faith and live in this faith, not be anxious with everything, a pandemic, virus, illness, problem, someone die in my family, everything there's a reason for that. As says in the end, is the opportunity to take advantage to organize our internal being, how to deal in this process of evolution. We are evolved in each incarnation. In each incarnation, there are hundreds of problems. And depending on the problem for someone that die is the end of the world. For others, someone is dying, okay, is the God wishes, so that's it. The simple ones, they have less problems than the rigid ones. So I'm learning with humble people in favela in Curitiba. When I talk to them, they teach me things that I never think before. But they have no lessons, no books, even they don't read, but they have the wisdom into their heart because perhaps in previous incarnations they took advantage of all the lessons. So we should live by faith. Anyone who wants to comment? Are you thinking about? We can read this book every day, and have no faith. Faith is more than that. It's more than only instruction. It's a self-education, spiritual education that no one put inside us. You can read, you can do academic university, but sometimes you have no faith. You succumb when someone in your family commits suicide, for example. When you have faith, you know that you will overcome the situation and add more knowledge, as Paul of Tarsus said here.
Can I talk, Elsa?
Yes, I don't know the time. If someone is doing the time in here, take care of the time. For me, it's okay.
If I would like to say some comments. Can I? It's Edir from Brazil.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, it's very interesting, this question about faith, because I have many friends who are atheists. They don't believe in God, and they say faith is not necessary. And when I am talking to them, I say, maybe you don't have faith in God, but you have faith in science. When we read books about history, we haven't seen those scenarios, wars, occurrences, happenings, but we trust, we have faith in those authors who has written the books. So it's very important we see that in many occasions of our lives, we have faith. When we understand there are different types of faith, it will be easier to have faith in God, in my point of view. I think it's a very interesting way to look at this. You know, have you already thought about this? That many people don't have faith in God, but they have faith in science. They believe in books about history, or, for example, other important thing. Jesus Christ has said to us, happy will be the ones who don't see but believe. And currently, we can see a pandemic about an invisible virus that we don't see, but we have to believe because there are consequences, there are effects. It's like when we think about God, we cannot see God. He's invisible to us, but we can feel his consequences. And God is just and fair. And there are many things in our lives that we can correlate with Jesus' existence. So I would like to say those comments about faith. Okay. I'd like to listen to you too about this.
Yeah, you can have faith when you go to the airplane. You have faith in the pilot, the airplane will be fine, the pilot is okay. You even don't know the pilot of the airplane. You can go to the lift to the 40-something floor, and you have faith that everything will be fine. But it's so automatically. But this faith that we are talking here is really a faith that help you to evolve. It's not something automatically. I know that they are atheists, they don't believe in God, but they have faith in life, faith that the dog is so friend, they have a friend that is something very, a very nice person, they can trust everything, but this is a living by faith. It's something that Christianity, all the religions as well, and not only our philosophy that we are studying now, that is, we have this faith that everything will go on. We are not ill forever, we are not in poverty forever, we are not bad or evil forever. We have faith that everyone will evolve.
Just say we shall keep with Kardec, reason of faith. We need to have the reason of faith.
I will not start my video, but I would like to say some words about faith, because as Stefan said, in Kardec's faith is a reasoning faith. But faith has many faces, and if we start discussing faith here, we'll take 2, 3, 4, 5 hours. We need to discuss what atheism is, what atheism, the many views of atheism, because there is not only one, and then come to faith. I don't think that is the purpose of this night. Maybe we could have an agenda for another time and be prepared to discuss faith in sense of spiritism.
I finished my part.
Okay, Becca.
Okay, I think that we are a little bit delayed with the schedule, so I propose that Charles will start now.
Just say Tanya raised her hand, so.
No, I wasn't raising my hand. It was just an acknowledgement and saying thank you to Elsa and the others for their comments.
Okay.
That's just a applause, symbol for applause.
Okay, so Charles, good luck.
Okay, so Stephen Oringo, can you please enable me to share my screen? It will make the
Sir, it's already enabled. You just need to click on share screen.
The administrator deactivated the screen share for the participants.
Let me check here, 1 second.
We are learning this process.
With my wife, when we are talking, something is not working, I always tell her.
Okay, it's checked now, so you can share your screen.
Okay, tell me when you can see it. Ah, sorry, it was not yet this one.
Now we can see it.
Okay. Good. So let's go. So the subject of the day is 30 minutes. I will try to do it quicker to enable some questions at the end. What is Spiritism? Just a short introduction about this. So I first introduce a man which is called Hippolyte Léon Denisard Rivail. He is born in Lyon, France, October 3rd, 1804. He was educated in the school of Pestalozzi in Yverdon, Switzerland. You can see on the picture a monument that has been erected in the city of Lyon, close to the place he was born. in collaboration with the township of Lyon. And you can see also underneath the picture of this Pestalozzi together with children and the institute in Yverdon. Pestalozzi was one of the most famous educators of that time, beginning of the 19th century. And he developed the pedagogy of Jean-Jacques Rousseau, basically. So the young Hippolyte had the chance to go and to study with him, which gave him, so from France he went to Switzerland, and in this school he had colleagues from wherever from Europe, Germany, UK, Russia, so it gave him a big cultural awareness, open mind, fundamental values of love, which is a teaching, one of the fundamentals of the teaching of Pestalozzi, who trained also the children to observe the natural phenomenon and to deduce the natural law by themselves. And also using this common sense, and this made such that Rivail was part of these so-called free-thinking individuals. He left the institute somewhere around 1822, went to Paris. He was developing the pedagogic activity in Paris and wrote the first book in 1823. So it means he was 18 years old. And his book was Practical and Theoretical Course of Arithmetic according to Pestalozzi's method that he applied and developed. 2 years later, he was a school director. He founded his own education institute in Paris. And he even was, how to say, known enough in France that he was called to propose a plan for the improvement of public education in France, which was presented to the French government. And this made him very, very famous in this pedagogic activity in France at that time. He wrote several other books. He was also a member of several scientific academic societies. We have now found a lot of documents, original documents from that epoch, which can then, how to say it, confirm and sustain all this. So that's what I wanted to talk about this man. Let's now see the history of Spiritism. How did it appear? How did it start? First of all, there were always, since the older ages, natural phenomenon which were somehow called over supernatural, but which were not. So the mediumship existed since a long time, and for instance, a lot of religions were teaching about reincarnation millenniums ago. So nothing was really new in terms of all these bases who got introduced to the humanity very early. But in 1847 happened this famous Fox family house poltergeist or raps in Hydesville, New York. And this got a very huge mediatic divulgation at that time. It was, Conan Doyle called it the invasion of the Spiritist phenomenon at that moment. So this phenomenon were repeated in other places. And also in 1850, it got diversified and spread out worldwide. And this is the date where serious investigation begun by scientists. So they have immediately seen, yes, the phenomenon is authentical. They wanted first to find out who and how is cheating, but at the end they had to admit, no, the phenomenon is real, and started making serious investigation about it. And in 1854, so 4 years later, this man that I introduced before, Mr. Rivail, started his own investigations. And his first statement was this: okay, there is a table moving. As long as the movement is random, nothing to say. But when you ask questions and when you see the table answering to questions and giving answers which make sense, his statement was intelligent effects must have an intelligent cause. And that is then when he decided to dedicate his life to search for this cause. And then he was very strongly studying all this phenomenon. He participated to several meetings in Paris and so on. So he gathered along the years a lot of elements from different groups, different mediums, and different sources. And 3 years later, he managed to compile all this, or we could say also to codify all this, in the famous Spirits book, which was launched then in 1857. It is 163 years ago. And this book is containing what you see on the screen, is really giving the basic principle of the Spiritist teachings: immortality of soul, nature of spirits, relation with men, moral laws, present life, future life, and the destiny of human race, according to the teachings from the spirits of high degree. So first thing, it's somehow, I call it a revolutionary book, because it's really a disruptive approach that he had. There was already existing some rational spiritualism in the first half of the 19th century, but Kardec brought really the facts, the phenomenon, the scientific approach by observation of the phenomenon, as in order to reinforce and to sustain this rational spiritualism, which was more developed by how to say, self-knowledge and meditation and philosophical approach. And here it was really a scientific and factual approach. Second thing is, you can see, according to the teaching from spirits, so this book is composed in his current edition with 1,019 questions, which were asked to the spirits, and you have in the book the answers given by the spirits. This means that all the theory, all what is written in this book is coming from the spirits. It's not Kardec's own or personal ideas or concepts. And some of the answers he had even some difficulty to admit, like for instance reincarnation. Himself, he told that was difficult to accept at the beginning, but in front of the evidences and the strong arguments, he ended up accepting it as really one of the basic principles of Spiritism. So what is this book including? How can this book help us, for instance, today? So today we have this pandemic disease. It is this virus, as it was told. We are all in house. Luckily, we have the technology which enables us to gather even so. And okay, so we can ask, is there something in the Spirits book who explains what is the meaning of such pandemics? Sure, you just go and read question number 737. What is the aim of God in visiting mankind with destructive calamities? So could be earthquake, tsunami, and can be also pandemic like the COVID. At that time you had the cholera. A little bit later there was also the Spanish grippe. And so this happens from time to happen. It's very often at that moment, a little bit less now, but still it's happening. So these destructive calamities where the man has apparently no, it's just coming like this randomly. So nothing apparently wrong done by the man. It just falls, it happens like this. So the answer of the Spirit is very clear, and you can, I will read it quickly for you. So they told it's to make man advance more quickly. Have we not told that destruction is necessary to the moral regeneration of spirits who accomplish a new step in their purification in each new existence? In order to appreciate any process correctly, you must see its results. You judge merely from the personal point of view, and you therefore regard those inflictions as calamities because of the temporary injuries that they cause you. By such upsetting are often needed in order to make you reach more quickly a better order of things and to effect in a few years what you would otherwise have taken centuries to accomplish. So very clearly, I mean, you see, we talked about reincarnation. We talked, Spiritism is also teaching that death is just the soul getting free from the body. So it's just a transformation. It's not the end of everything, like for the materialist approach. So from this, we see, okay, we are dying now from COVID or from a tsunami or whatever, but it's just the end of this existence. We will have a lot of other existences. And we can also see that what is written in the sequence is also true. Because with this COVID, everyone at home, a lot of people took opportunity to stop, to think a little bit, to go out of the daily routine, to think a little bit different. How can I do the things differently? How can I do the thing better? How can I help? We have seen a lot of people in the health or medicine area making huge efforts to help the people which were ill, to try to save life. Even some older doctors which were retired, they started again working. Some of them even caught the virus and died from it. So it's we have seen really some very nice and heroic reactions. On another side, we have also seen some quite negative reactions. People which develop selfish, which were looking to the economy first. No, we cannot stop the economy, even if a lot of people is dying. Like if they would give, okay, a life is worth so and so much dollars or euros or Brazilian reais or whatsoever. You see the type of things. This is when you have a trial like this, it's making, it's revealing really who is really having positive reaction, who is really having negative reactions, and this spontaneously. The people, they react spontaneously. Of course, there is a lot of influence here and there. There is a lot also of fake news, of contradictory information. And this is also a very good exercise for us for the, how to say, discernimento in English. Can someone help me? Making differences between the things, seeing what is right and what is wrong, making differences, and also, yes, so that's it. So we can see here that when there is some events like this, and for the COVID, it's even stronger because everyone can catch it, rich, poor, black, white, whoever. Can catch it and can die from it. It's of course a little bit more older people than younger, but a lot of young people also died from it. So it really can, how to say, reach anyone. And anyone really felt concerned, even if in some countries it was not so strong at the beginning. It got stronger later on, like in Brazil. It started a little bit with a 1 month offset compared with Europe. But we can see that basically nobody escaped from it. So it has a strong impact on everyone and makes everyone to think about the things. And it's an opportunity to have, let's say, this better order of things quicker, because a lot of consciences are waken up. And hopefully, I think, a lot of others now in France, we can see when the confinement is reduced, a lot of people, they start exactly like before, but some of them not. And this is how the progress is happening in the world. So we see here clearly in the answer from the spirits to this question, the positive effects and how this is all planned into this global transition our planet is going through. Okay, this was just a small parenthesis to make the link between these books and the, how to say, actual concerns. So continuing a couple of years later, he wrote the Mediums book, and there he gave the special instruction for the mediumship, how to have a say, and what are the different types, how to have a safe exercise of mediumship, what are the conditions, what are the dangers, and so on. So this is to develop the practical aspect of Spiritism. The third book he wrote was the Gospel according to Spiritism. And this is where he compared the morality or the moral teachings of the spirits with the moral teachings which can be found in the Gospel, and showing very clearly how some parts of the Gospel have been during millenniums, centuries, wrongly interpreted, and bringing now again this strength and this consistency about this moral and ethical principles, which are basically, when we look carefully, at the basis of all religions. And we just have to remove from all this all the mistakes, all the mistranslations, or all the changes that have been introduced later on by humans for several reasons, for mistakes, for political influence, for they were willing to dominate and to govern and whatsoever. And all this has then to be removed. And when we go, we have to come back really to the root of not the letter, but the spirit of these teachings. Continuing, Heaven and Hell, it's the fourth book he has written. So he's comparing these different doctrines about the passage from the earthly world to spirit life. He's discussing also about the notions of heaven, hell, evil, angels, and so on. What makes sense, what doesn't make sense. And this book helped me a lot to, how to say, format again the hard disk from my past Catholic education, and making all this now fully consistent with the intelligence and the common sense. And the second part of this book is also very interesting. There is numerous examples of the state of the soul during and after death, depending on what this person has done during his life. So we see here also the cause and effect. What should we do? What should we avoid to do if we want to be in a good position after the death? That we will all, with 100% probability, sooner or later, maybe better later than sooner, but sometimes it's the opposite. We will have to go there. So it's really, there is nothing more important to study than the death, and in order to prepare ourselves correctly for these events that will happen to all of us. Genesis is the last book, the fifth book. He is developing several items of the Spiritist philosophy, and here you see really the essence of Kardec's thinking. And he really, after he had, you see, 11 years or even more experience and reflections in this area, and he really put here in this book all these thoughts in their deepest expression. So it's not the book to start with, better for starters to start with the Spirit book, but this one is really excellent in going really in depth in several items of the Spiritist philosophy. And what is also important is the last section of this book called Time Has Arrived. He is clearly describing this transition which our planet is going through this last decades or even centuries, and explaining exactly why we have today this confrontation of opposite ideas, of materialistic people, of spiritualistic people, of right people, left people, whatever. And this is somehow generations which are living together right now in the world, giving all these crises, all these problems that we are seeing. But it's a clear sign that the Earth is now in the active phase of this transition, moving to a world where the evil is dominant over the good, and where tomorrow it will be the opposite. The good will be dominant over the evil. So this is the basic 5 books of the Spiritist teachings. And one of the first priorities should be to have these books in good translation in all the languages. So in English, they are translated. I think the translations are rather reasonably good. There is even some American style translation and UK style translations. And these books in English can be downloaded from the website of the International Spiritist Council. We can indicate the address to you, okay? So continuing, Kardec discarnated in Paris the year after, you see, 31st of March, 1869. So what are now, just in a summary to finish my presentation, the basic characteristics of Spiritism? The first, you talked about faith. And Kardec wrote this about the face. Unshakable face is the only that which can meet reason face to face in every human epoch. So you see, it's clearly a move from the blind face, from a face that either you have or you don't have, that is maybe inspired or falling from the sky or whatever we can call it, to a reasoned face, which is, for instance, when you ask me, do you have faith about reincarnation? I answer by another question. Do you have faith that 1 + 1 is equal to 2? So it's not a question of faith anymore. It's a question of understanding, of evidence. And once we have made this analysis with our reason, the faith is much, much stronger than when you just believe in something that you don't understand. I admire, like I think Jair told it, Jesus told, it's good the people who believe even without having seen. In science, there are a lot of things that we cannot see, and even so it's admitted as a science. Even in Spiritism, it's not answering to everything. For instance, what is the essence of God? The spirits, they tell us, we don't know, so we cannot teach you. So it's something that is beyond our understanding. So we have to have this humility to admit such things. But even if we cannot understand the essence, we can understand enough in order to have this inside our reason and to clearly see the evidences that this is a truth. Continuing, rather than saying believe first and you will understand later, if you can, Spiritism says understand first and you will believe later if you want to. And this is in Spiritist magazine 1867. So you see, the blind face, you have to believe first and you maybe later will understand if you can. Spiritism is the opposite. You have to understand first, make it clear in your reason, in your mind, in your understanding, and then you will believe it if you want to. So still leaving the free will for everyone to believe or not to something. And this is really the goal of Spiritism. Spiritism is bringing teachings, but is not imposing anything. So we are here to give some notions, but then everyone is free to admit or not to admit. So quickly also, Spiritism, as per the definition Kardec gave, is a science, which deals with the nature, origin, and destiny of spirits, as well as their relationship with the corporeal world. So Kardec clearly used scientific methods for codifying all the Spiritism, and today it continues. I mean, the different researchers in Spiritism are following a scientific method. So in this meaning, clearly Spiritism is a science. It's also a philosophy. Why? Because it reveals new and more profound concepts with respect to God, the universe, human beings, spirits, laws, which govern the life itself. So these are typically philosophical questions which are finding a lot of answers inside the Spiritist philosophy. We also know what we are, where we come from, where we go to, what is the objective of life, and what is the reason for pain and suffering. You see, a lot of people are depressed because they are lacking meaning of the life. Why I'm here, what I'm doing here, what shall I do, what is the purpose of life? And for this, really, Spiritism is bringing strong and logical, rational elements. And continuing, logical answers also of most of today's ethical questions. What is good and evil? About questions also like abortion, family, euthanasia, homosexuality, and also episode like pandemic like the COVID. And whatever, I mean, it's very difficult to find something that has not been touched in the Spiritist philosophy. And if it has not, you sure are finding elements which enables you to make the reasoning and coming to a logical answer to the question you have. And then religion. So here I'm writing very clearly that Spiritism, and Kardec wrote it as well, is not a religion in the common sense of this word. If you would have told me 35 years ago that Spiritism is a religion, I would not be here today, clearly. Why? Because for me, before I learned Spiritist teachings, religion was, the word religion has a negative sense. And all these abuses committed along the centuries in the name of God. And the Trinity, where God, Jesus, and Spiritus Sanctus is the same thing, it means in the name of all three, all these wars, all this Inquisition, all this burning Joan of Arc, and so on, were done in the name of the religion. So for me, the religion was clearly something negative. So if you come and tell me, and would have told me Spiritism is a religion, I just would have stand up and went away. So it's definitively not the correct approach, particularly here in Europe, because this continent suffered a lot from all these abuses and was fighting during decades and centuries to get free, to get rid of this religion influence into the government, into the politics, into the forbidding the progress of science and so on. So continuing, Spiritism is a religion when we use this, we understand this word in the, let's say, the deep sense. But unfortunately, it's only a minority of people who are understanding the word in this deep sense, which means link with God and link also the humans between one another. Nevertheless, even so, Spiritism, as you have seen, Gospel according to Spiritism, the scientific findings and philosophical conclusions are leading to human knowledge of universal moral and ethical laws which are governing the world and which are at the source of most of the traditional religions. And Kardec wrote a little bit about this, Léon Denis wrote about this, several authors are showing really when you go to the root of the teachings of the religion, when you remove all this rubbish which has been accumulated by mankind, politics, mistakes along the time, you find that all of them agree on almost everything. And the spirits are coming and teaching the same. So telling that Spiritism is not a religion does not mean that Spiritism is not contemplating these moral and ethical laws, which are basically the laws governing the spiritual world and also the incarnated worlds. Okay. And the last characteristic of Spiritism, Spiritism practice is gratuitous, following the orientation of the moral principle found in the Gospel. Give for free what you receive for free. So all these are the characteristics. You see, the question is Spiritism a religion? Is not answered. It's not easy to answer. It's yes or no. And yes and no. So I'm finishing. Science without religion is lame. Religion without science is blind. This is coming from Albert Einstein. He had this feeling already that it's not good to be nor at one extreme nor at the other, that the truth and the right is always somewhere in the middle. He was afraid seeing what mankind was doing with his invention when the atomic bombs were developed in the mid of the 20th century. Spiritism is rationally integrating the three phases of knowledge: science, philosophy, and ethics, religion. And the lemma of Kardec is, without charity, there is no salvation. So Spiritism is here to help, is not here to govern, to dominate, to dictate anything. We are just, the good Spiritism is here to help. Disinterestedly means really practicing this charity and also working a lot to improve oneself, itself first, and also to try others to do the same in the benefit of everyone. Thanks a lot for your attention. So at the end, I took even so almost 30 minutes. Nevertheless, if you have a question, it will be a pleasure for me to answer.
Charlie, it's not a question, it's only a comment. I like the way that you present, because this is an example how people can use in their countries to present Spiritism to locals. because this can be translated in another languages, can use your translation, your books, and you organized very well that people can use to small groups, meetings, or just with the first moment to start something that we discuss here as an example, how you do in your country, the other do in their countries. This is a good example. I use a lot. I will copy it.
I would just like to add quickly that I had some exchanges with Stephen today, and he sent me some questions that an Irish people has asked him. And when I read it, I thought, okay, it's exactly this. So this man really, it's the typical example of how the people are thinking here, and how myself was thinking when I was younger, before I understood Spiritism. You know, if you come with religion, with Jesus, I'm blocking. I would have blocked immediately because of all these abuses. So you have really to come and to present the things somehow in the way Kardec did, because Kardec had this cultural awareness. He made everything presented in a way that it is acceptable for most of the cultures we can find here around Europe.
So Charles, it's Fabricio here. This is really good. Thank you. And what I was gonna say also, at the moment I'm doing a piece of work to introduce Spiritism to spiritualist people over here in the UK. And that is a really good approach, because what I have seen for the last 4 meetings I have had with them, with their church, where we were presenting Spiritism, they were kind of like, some of them were a little bit protective to say, is this guy's coming here along to present another religion? And then when we approach the spiritualist people, the spiritualist church, and then we are presenting them Spiritism as you presented tonight for us, that take away all that defense, because we are not there to present another religion. We are not there to compete with their religion. We are there to present Spiritism as it is, taking Kardec proposal, which is to present it as a philosophy rather than a religion. And I think that's a really good approach that we all could be taking, as to present Spiritism for people that never ever heard about Spiritism before.
It is clearly Kardec's approach, okay? So every country has somehow adapted it to its own culture. So in Brazil or even in Latin America, there is some characteristics which is, I would say, more religious, and it's a way to have it accepted and developed in the huge extent it is developed today. So it worked. But here in Europe, I mean, we have now, I'm here, I was in Brazil as well in the 80s, but since the 90s I'm here, I see all these groups in Europe. But still after 30 years, since 1990, when you go to the groups, when you go to the countries and you look, where are the local people? And really, you will find them in France, in Belgium, but you find them also, for instance, in Poland and Finland. And one of the root reasons for this is clearly because there are excellent I mean, in French we have the originals, but in these other countries you have excellent translation of Kardec's book. So even the spiritualists, the Finnish spiritualists, you can even talk with Pekka about this, were reading Kardec's book. Pekka started advertising or making some writings in spiritualist magazines. And the spiritualists got interested, and some of them came back to him and told, hey, guys, this is what we were looking for, you see? So that is the right approach. Coming, let's say, low profile. If you come and tell you are a religion, everyone sees you as a concurrent, you want to dominate, you want to... All this negative aspect of religion is coming. So it's really not the right flag to come with it. You will be kicked out, or you will get the people leaving the room very, very quickly.
Yeah,
it's just a question of form. It's not a question, you know, a lot of people are saying the Europeans, they don't believe in Jesus. I must admit you, I didn't. when all these things, Inquisition, killing thousands, millions of people in the name of God and the Trinity, including Jesus and the Spiritus Sanctus, how can I have a positive image about Jesus? Not possible. But now when you came to me and you tell, do on the other what you would like that the other does on you, this I would have accepted immediately, you know. It's just a question of how you approach the things.
Yeah, that's so right, Charles, because I have another two examples of two people that is actually recently came to my spiritual center here down in Bournemouth. One of them doesn't believe in God at all. And the second one, she actually works with me. She has got some religion background, but she's not a follower as such. And they're both very, very interested in Spiritism and Kardec, because the approach that was given to them is, this is not a religion, this is a philosophy, and whatever you want to do with this knowledge going forward is up to you. If you want to carry on not believing God, it's okay. If you now, after you study Spiritism, you become a Christian or a Spiritist or any other religion, it's also okay, because you're not imposing any flag that, okay, you can only come study Spiritism if you become one, or if you become this, or if you become this religion, that religion. You're not passing that message on, and you're leaving the person with their own understanding to decide whatever they want to do, what's best for them.
Yeah, and also we needed to pay attention, Fabrizio, that we don't need and we don't want to convert anybody. The message you want to do is use Spiritism teachings to increase your faith in your religion.
Or yourself.
Well, then you decide, but Spiritism give you the background, the basis to lead you to whatever you want. If you want to be just to not have a religion, but you have a philosophy, great. If you want to be a spiritualist, but now you have basis. So that's the main purpose, in my opinion. And this is my view since I arrived in Ireland and I had to deal with non-Brazilian culture. And this is teaching me how brilliantly Spiritism can adapt to elsewhere.
So the moral aspect of the Spiritism, that's the main point maybe the people try to or should improve, I think. So the moral aspect is connected anyway with religion, because the more, in my opinion, because the more you improve yourself, you are approaching of God as well.
No, but Alice said, no, it's sorry, but it's not like this. The moral aspect is positive. The religion is negative. So it's not connected. You see,
think so?
I have seen recently on some posts, Jesus was not Christian, Muhammad was not Muslim, and so on. The religion came after them. It's done by mankind. This is how we understand this word religion here. It has really a negative meaning. And so if you assimilate Spiritism with something which is negative, you are starting wrongly, you see. You rather start with morality, and you have a lot of people fighting which are atheists and whatever, but with a very high morality, with doing everything well, like if they would be Spiritists without knowing it, you know. And this is the characteristic here. It's coming from the autonomy and the liberty and the own will of each person. When you come with a religion, it's, here is a book, you have to do what's written in this book. I throw the book away immediately. You see, it's this heteronomous approach is not accepted anymore. There was a French Revolution, centuries of struggle to get rid of this negative influence of these religious leaders. Nobody wants to come back to this. You see, and this is what is making the people blocking. But if you tell help the poor people, make the fight against corruption or whatever, this all the people will accept. Even, but when you come with the word religion, then the people they just go away. You see?
I fully support what Charles is saying, and I think it's a fundamental difference, I think, between the Brazilian approach to Spiritism and a lot of Europeans. That there is for some, and not for all, but for some there is a particularly I think in British and French culture, I think there's a strong feeling that it evokes. It's a complicated relationship, should we say, with religion. So focusing purely on the ideas, the principles, the philosophy, the science makes it much more accessible. And so focusing on the ideas and the examples that the spirit that was Jesus brought, more than focusing on the person or the spirit of Jesus, which I think tends to happen within Brazilian Spiritism, that there is very much a focus on the individual. But by focusing more on the ideas, it makes it more accessible to more people.
And Kardec also wrote.
I'm sorry, can I just say one?
Sorry, please.
Just one quick thing, because here in Lithuania they haven't heard much about Spiritism, but what they know is about negative aspects of Spiritism. They always associate with, oh, okay, when I say the word Spiritism, they think it's something like bad, or they put their hand on the front and say like, oh, it's about the thing with the tables. And so this idea of telling them, what is Spiritism in more philosophical way.
You're right. So this is an additional difficulty, But if you explain correctly what it is, then the people, they come back to you and told, hey, I'm really surprised. I didn't think at all that it was what you just explained to me.
Yeah, that's why I'm trying to translate as much as I can to Lithuanian language, to show them like what is Spiritism and not like the bad and the negative part. And one person even said to me, oh, you have to change the name then. And I was like, no, I cannot change the name. Spiritism is Spiritism,
So many people did already change names. You had so many other isms, like we call omnitheism, so many philosophies, in particularly after Kardec. You see today, what is the one we are still talking about is Spiritism. All the others were forgotten because none of them had the strength, the completeness, the wide covering all the aspects, like what Kardec did, with the help of the spirits. Of course, he was just here the organizer and or codifier of all these things.
Yeah.
But one thing is sure, it's 150 years now later. So he was really ahead of his time. And you see, Jesus came 2,000 years ago. A lot of people did not understand him. So it may take still some more time. And episodes like the COVID are helping us for having the people making the right questions and opening their mind to such things. Different approach.
Yeah. So Charles, I think...
Oh, sorry. It's okay.
I was just going to ask a question to everyone, actually, because this is a challenge for us. So for us that we are here in Europe, who are with the work of spreading the Spiritism, we need to be careful that we don't make the same mistake as the Brazilians have done as far as the Spiritism is concerned back in Brazil, to turn into a religion and something that is punitive, something that you have to do, that kind of stuff. Like almost have like the Catholic or the religions approach that you have to do something.
May I just interrupt quickly?
Could I say some words?
I don't say it's a mistake. It works like this in Brazil. But the mistake is trying to copy-paste this back to here. This is the mistake. But in Brazil, I think they did it right because you have 30 million people sympathetic to Spiritism in Brazil. So it's a success, you see.
Yeah, but my question is still stands. So what would be for us here in terms of spreading Spiritism? How can we not repeat then this approach and take Spiritism as a religion? What can we, because at the moment, the reality of Spiritism in Europe and across, I guess, anywhere in the world is still very much the majority of people that is conducting Spiritism is or are Brazilians. And how can we ensure that we're not gonna repeat that and take it to this route and maybe
this is the reason we do have this kind of meeting, Mauricio, to learn.
Yeah, so take the Spiritism as less Brazilian way and maybe more European way.
No, I think we should not change what Kardec said. Just follow the lines of Kardec, and Kardec never said that is a religion. Kardec said that Spiritism is a science with a philosophical, with a philosophy view, and he defined it in 3 aspects. The religious, not really religion, but the religious aspect is not a religious, is an ethical and moral aspect. And for that, he uses Jesus. Mm-hmm. Of course, people mind Jesus linked with religion, but Jesus never founded a religion. This came after him. Then go and explain the basic, because not by being a Brazilian, we agree with the approach of religiosity in Spiritism. We agree with the ethical and moral as per Jesus' teachings, and that is acceptable everywhere. Even Gandhi said that. He said very clear, he said, I don't believe the Christians, man, but I believe in Jesus, because he read the, what to say that? The Mount, the Sermon of the Mount. I don't know the name in English, sorry. But I think this is the way to explain. One of the first things we do in our studies in the center in Vienna, especially in Vienna, because it's where we have a lot of Brazilians, is to get people to study Spiritism from the basis, from the fundamentals, that they understand the 3 aspects. That's basic. And I congratulate Charles. Thank you.
Yeah, it is. And also we need to understand that the true the lessons given by Jesus was what Paul spread. So that's the beginning. That's the base where Kardec used. He just made what Paul spread in the first years of the Christianity. Listen, then I would say that after the 3rd century, then came the man and made a mess, But at the beginning,
Kardec wrote the book Gospel According to Spiritism. But since 30 years, I'm saying there are some books which are missing. It must be Quran as per Spiritism, Vedas as per Spiritism, and so on. And Kardec, unfortunately, did not have the time to do it. But when you look Léon Denis after death, for instance, he is making this analysis and showing to everyone who is reading that in the root of all these different religions in the world, whether Christian or others, Buddhism, Hinduism, were even before Christ, you see that everything in the root is consistent. And that is the message you have to bring forward in order not to have these people getting reluctant because you come with a too exclusivity Christian view, you see. This is the diplomatic approach you need to have in order to overcome this difficulty.
May I make a comment?
Sure.
I know that you based on the basic and codification, and I'm grateful for that. But I think for all of us, we can find more explanations in the magazines. There are a few more explanations that help us to understand better the Spiritism. It's just it's my view, because I am translating to put in the Romanian magazine the articles, and they are phenomenal, and they explain a lot of things about Spiritism, about the world, about all the things that they are in the codification, but there are better help with the magazine. They have a better help and understanding with the magazine. Thank you.
You mean Kardec's magazine or the
Yeah, Kardec magazine. Yeah, that's what I am meaning. Yeah.
About religion, there is something, I don't know if it has been translated into English already. It's December 1868, and Kardec is really answering to this question: is Spiritism a religion? And all what he wrote at that time is more or less what I said you today. So I'm not inventing anything, I'm just inspiring for him. And his explanation in this article is really giving all the explanations about this difficult problem.
Can I comment also? So
you're the timekeeper, Pekka, I see.
Yes, there's two things, but I think we have to talk. I can see that the time is going so fast, and I think we reserved for Ingo 30 minutes time. So 11 o'clock, or let's say after 40 minutes, we have used our time. So I think that we will make this Ingo's part in the next time. And that's one thing. Maybe, what do you think about that? I really want to hear what Ingo is saying. I hope that it will not be too quick. And another thing is that in Finland we faced two things. We didn't have books which were informing what is Spiritism. And when I was listening Nadia, it seems that I have been facing this situation what you are facing now. So really, it's important to make this translation, because then people can find the information. But something which has been really useful here is that nowadays there is a lot of magazines and newspapers, and some of them, they are esoteric, and people are interested in these kind of things. So I started to offer articles for some magazines, and they get interested because let's say these newspapers and magazines, they want to have something to, sometimes they are missing things to put in their papers. And something which was very useful here, that I was making articles for these newspapers and these magazines, and they included these, and then we received more interest. And that's something what I want to say to Nadia, that it's, when I started, the people were 100%, they didn't understand at all what is Spiritism. They think that it's, once I was went to make presentation regarding Spiritism for one school, and they gave to me one cup of glass cup, and they say that way we will start to, let's say, make letters, and do you need candles and stuff like that. And it's lot of misunderstanding involved, but that's only way to take this misunderstanding out, is to provide information available. And that's just I can tell much more, but we should not take too much time for that.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Great idea.
I want to say that Romanian people doesn't have the books too, so they have the same opinion with Pekka. I am agree with Pekka and Nadia, and they actually consider Spiritism like a sect, and they don't want to talk. So you have to speak and to offer explanation and to help them understand really what is the meaning of Spiritism. So in many occasions, I speak with them and I help them to understand. They are they are all of them believers, but they are Orthodox. So they are more about the religion than, but with the help, I see that they make progress. They look for information and they want to know more about Spiritism. That's for me. That's all for me.
Maybe also a few words from my side. My view is a little bit that this is an academic discussion, whether we talk about the religious pillar or about the moral and ethic pillar. But on the other side, I agree, of course, the way we approach and the way we get people to listen in Europe is different than in Brazil. That's clear. But my view is it's not about going and explaining somebody about what is Spiritism, but it's more about answering to the questions which are concerning the people, like answering to the questions why they don't need to be afraid of death, what's happening afterwards, or why when we try to address or give the answer, why are people sick, why are things happening, why do we have this pandemics and so on. And I think this is the way we can get the people, because people, they are looking for answers, they're looking for meaning of life and so on and so forth. And all of these answers we have in the Spiritist teaching. So when we go and talk to the people, my view is we need to come and address these questions. And when we come with answers, with the answers we know from the teaching, they are all convincing answers, then we can in a second step talk about and Kardec and what is behind and so on and so forth. But that is the way I think we need to approach the public, and the people who are interested and who have these questions, they will then come and listen and they will try to understand more and get more. And then you start explaining things. And then you also explain why is the moral and ethic way Jesus taught us and what is in the gospel of Spiritism, why is it so important for us, for human beings and so on. So it's really the way that we translate what we have into answers to the questions everybody has. And that is the way we can convince the people and get them on board and study more. And this is our task, and this is also the difficulty, because we need really to extract the answers out into easy and simple words and spread this message, and then people will come and listen. If we talk just about philosophy only and about what is Spiritism, then I think it's more about the philosophers and about the academic part, but I think we need to bring answers to people. And yeah, so this is the way I think we need to do.
Can I say one example that we have here? For example, when we started this pandemic moment, we have a book, very nice book, Evolution in 2 Worlds. There is a chapter, microbial invasão microbiana, that is very nice in the use the question about the flagel destruidores. I can remember in English now. Is destruction something from Kardec's book. Combining those, I wrote a very nice article with a small part of me and use parts that are already written in the books. And there was a very nice article for the magazine here that I'm writing now since last year. Every month, an article in English to the Spiritualist newspaper. They accept it very well. They're waiting very nicely my article, and that's it. It's a small part. It's a slowly. So Nadia can do that. This there. Pavlina can do in Bulgaria. Bianca can do in Romania. Small things in local magazine, as already Pekka is doing in Finland. They always have a space for you there. They want to put something, and you bring them a very nice meal for their hungry body. It's very nice. It's very nice to write. So we have in our Spiritist books loads of information ready, only copy and paste, organize, so that you can explain everything. It is there. They can.
I can complete a little bit. Sorry, Elsa. But what Ingo told it is the truth. So which has been successful here is that first of all, the books were translated, or one book, then the second, and etc. And these articles, I was, let's say, really trying to write these kind of things which are interests for people. For example, what happens when we die? How our planet is changing. And I remember that the first I made article regarding Allan Kardec and Spirit's book. And I think that after that, over 50 Spirit's books were sold. It was, I made citations, I copied some part, and in the end of the article, I put like reference that this part is from Spirit's book, this is from Gospel according to Spiritism, and then people bought it. And in last July, I made presentation regarding how to say planetary transition, and of course it's interesting also. But I was introducing there a lot of parts from Spirit's book and Genesis and Gospel, and really, so we really should, let's say, talk about interesting topics. But when somebody wants to learn and get more information, then we have reference that he can see that, okay, it's from that Allan Kardec book where he was taking this info, and then he buys this book, and then he starts to find information. That's our experience here. And something what I was hearing that, for example, in some places people don't want to talk about religion and pray or something like that. I have been starting most of my presentations with pray, and I have not been rejected or kicked out. And maybe somebody has been leaving because of that, I don't know. But some of them, they have been staying, and I'm happy with that. So I don't think that, but the way how I'm expressing this is, it's not a very religious way. It's observing, it's telling about, let's say, facts. But okay, I don't want to take more your time with this.
Guys, just have a simple question here. So more for mostly for European people, just to understand a little bit the mindset. Based on all of you said, in your opinion, what's more common questions that usually in Europe the people used to have, like they're concerned about what's happened after life, or they are more concerned about the meaning of life? Because We also have some kind of questions in Brazil, but the way how we think, the most of people, we think a different way. We just said, oh, some things have bad happen just because God wants. We have a lot of religion in Brazil, but we think we have a different approach. And how it used to be in Europe, and if they have these questions, and if they try to find and what they think about, it's more about that. It's more common questions. What do you think?
Can I? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, sure.
I think in Romanian part, they don't have really questions, but they actually just want to know more and to know about life after death, because they have a parent, a brother, a sister, and they are interested to see what's happened about that after death. I have a few people that his husband, his dad, and he had some mediumnic symptoms after he died, and that's situations that makes want to know about life after death. It's not exactly about spiritism, but the spiritists help them to know what happens after death, and they help to know more about the life after death, and after and the spiritist too.
May I also shortly comment? My view is a little bit the questions you have either in Brazil or in Europe are the same. And my view is also, or let's put it this way, if you have a German team playing against a Brazilian team football, then you have two teams and both teams are maybe playing very brilliant, but you will see that the Brazilian team is playing very intuitive. There are some people are really excellent and you cannot, it's difficult to predict how they play, but they play wonderful. They have their way to play. And this is the culture. And when you look at the Germans, they play very structured. Everybody has his exact position, and they have trained how to do these things. So it's very predictive, and both have success, and both have their ways to do things. So there is no right or wrong. It's simply that you need to appreciate the culture, and this for me, this works only that you get the local natives understanding, learning the spiritism and the teaching, and then translating, talking to their people in their language. They know exactly how they should argue. And this is just a challenge, nothing else. And for me, it's not, again, it's not so much about religion or not religion. It's just a way about how you bring this, how you bring things across, how you bring the answers across. And the moment you do this to your, let's say, cultural peers, they will automatically understand. So it's just a cultural difference, nothing else. And it simply takes time, and we will get there. We don't need to worry because we have all the answers. There is nothing else but one spiritual truth. This is the Spiritist teaching. So, but yeah.
Sorry, can I? I think I agree with you, Ingo, because it depends on the cultures. We all have our way of being. So Brazilian, I think they are more passionate. And I think we in Portugal we have some influence from Brazil. All right. So I can tell you about our experience in our Spiritism Center that we have in Viseu. The people that are looking for us, they don't come with questions. All right. They don't come with questions. They come for help, to ask for help, because they have something that they cannot know what is going on in any other places. So they come to us, like if it is the last kingdom and they need to know something, all right? Because they are suffering. What we do here, it's normal to think that most of them, they don't believe in Spiritism. Most of them, they are from other religions, not saying that Spiritism is a religion. No, I'm not saying that, all right? But they come to us just to see what we can do for them. And we use that, we use the help that they ask us to tell them what Spiritism is, all right? Because first of all, I think if they are suffering, they don't want to know what after death, what is going to happen, or why they are suffering. No, the thing is they need to know something. They ask help just to see if everything changes. Of course, nothing changes before we understand everything that Spiritism teaches. Yes, but we use, I'm sorry for the term, we use the way that they approach from to us to teach them what Spiritism is. And again, our experience tell us, because it's another culture, all right? And our experience tells us that in 40 and 47 years that this group is working in Brazil, most of the people, after they starting feeling well, they don't leave, and they come for those answers that Spiritism needs to give them.
I would like to say a few words, if you don't mind, because I like very much to hear Charles, and because he was very projective. And I was in 2008 in Switzerland and in Lyon to know different centers, spirit centers. And sorry about my English. And I talked with a Switzerland friend, and he told me that in the spirit center there are a little bit difficulties for because they have a book of teaching Spiritism, and it's a Brazilian book, and he's told to me we can't do it in the same in the same way of Brazilian people, because Switzerland, they come here and want to talk about mediumship. So they first talk about the interest they have, and then they talk about God. It's when they turn this, they began to catch people to learn more about Spiritism. And in Lyon, the other center, I met some people, and they told me that they don't talk about religion, don't talk about moral things, because the French that came to that center, they are interested in science. So I think those things are important, and I'm really happy to hear about you, because I think Spiritism, it's I'll say in English, it's adapting. Any culture, we just have to think like Pestalozzi. The interest is the most thing we can. Nós podemos cativar o interesse.
Interest.
Yes, I'm sorry.
But I think it's
a little bit difficult to explain in English what I want to say, but if we don't, in other countries, we must
learn that.
We can't explain Spiritism in the focus of interest of different cultures. Yeah, so.
Yeah, we are learning with each other, Regina. We are learning here, exchanging ideas. This is the moment that is really good because we are more or less 19 people here, 19 people. We are missing some people that should be here, but not today, perhaps next time. That this is a great moment because we can support each other, exchange how PECA started 19 or 11 years ago, or more than that, in Finland, without books. He translated the first book into Finnish. That was the Spiritist book. Exchange idea with Charles. So things are starting. Now he have all the collection there. But you have to put your mind and focus on what you have to do, translate the articles, translate the books, because talk to them without the books, without the offer, the thing is difficult as well. Can do, of course, can start.
Here we don't have that problem because in Portuguese we have so many books.
Yeah, we know. The
very
Portuguese
easy for us. And when you talk about people attending, every day we have 400 people, 300 people in our center, Spirit Center. Is too much, too many people, you know.
And we need to have a lot of books for them because they are all, after they receive the help that they think that they were looking for. So in that moment, they will learn what Spiritism is, and they take the books. We have in our library, I don't know, more than 800 books translated, of course. Yeah, and yeah, we think we need to understand first of all the nature of the people, because each country they are different from the others. Okay. Germany is different from Portugal. Spain is different from England. So you know, Romanian it's different from Finland. So we need to understand the people and to see to care for what they need, and from there we can reach them for sure.
Not changing, changing the Spiritism, of course. Philosophy, not changing that.
I lived in London, and for me it was difficult to. I lived in London for 3 years, and I knew that it was different, the approach of Spiritism from Portugal, even if we have many Brazilian people living in London. And yeah, and we have that I think Brazilian, they brought Spiritism all over the world, all right, with passion. But I agree with Charles. We need to improve, and we need to learn what Spiritism is about, because with that we will get further. We will go all the way, I think.
Can I? Oh, sorry, Elsa.
Go ahead, Anne. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to say just something that was coming across to me is like we're talking about cultural differences, people's needs, why people come looking, what they're looking for. Some are looking, they got a mediumship problem. Sometimes people have a bereavement, they have an illness, they feel depressed. There's many reasons. It's true that even in the same country, in the same city, you will have groups that will have different characteristics or different culture, because you are attracting people who are on a similar syntony. And that is why Kardec said, like, you know, having the small groups where people have affinity, it makes it much easier to harmonize. So I feel sorry for you in Viseu, having such a large group. It's really difficult to harmonize. But thinking that here in London, okay, there are many different groups, but the characteristics of different groups will suit different types of personalities, I think. So we are all individuals. So you have the local culture, but you also have, like, say, the personal culture that we're looking at and how we are approaching it and studying it. And some people, they prefer somebody to teach them in an authoritarian way, and some people prefer to study together on an equal basis. And it's okay. Whatever people prefer, they can find their tribe, their group, if you like. And the more we can open up and multiply, more people will find where is their niche. But what did happen here in London, that was my experience in the last 30 years. When I arrived here, there was one group, the Alankadi study group. And from that group, people would leave and start up their own group because they had different affinities, or they felt they live on the other side of the city. And this is how, just a natural process. So the Spiritism is one body of work that is so wide, so big, has so much knowledge, that we are naturally attracted to some aspects of it because they are answering our immediate pain, our immediate questions. So it's natural that that's where we're going. But then we slowly start going into the other areas. And I would say for myself, I studied Spiritism for 30 years. I don't think I have any like super knowledge of Spiritism. On the contrary, the more I know, the more I realize I know nothing. And that is the truth of it. So I think that it's important for us to share here the different experiences, but I also to keep an open mind. There is not one way of doing one thing in one country, another country. And I imagine in Germany, if you're doing things in Bavaria, it's probably quite different than doing things in Berlin. I don't know, it's just the different characteristics of the people in the city. If they're university students and they want an academic kind of approach, or if they are working in unqualified immigrants, they can't speak properly. Can you see how it would be different? So just, that's what I want to share. Sorry, I spoke too much.
No, I think it's absolutely beautiful. Guys, thank you very much for sharing your experiences, very practical experiences with magazines and so on. We are very far behind here in Galway. We have to get a few very good hints I learned today. But what I would love to say that I really like Pekka's approach to, you know, there are ways when we can kind of all the time go with what other people do, but we also have to have it inside us. We have to, I think, it's my opinion, we have to emit what we study, you know, as well. Just be what we study. That's why it's so important to food for the mind, and you know, Divaldo used to say, mind what we put inside us, what we watch, you know, like so it's so important that when we start to cultivate ourselves, so to have the confidence to really, there are certain things we could of course stand back, but I love Pekka's approach that he goes and have the prayer, you know, this is place when I am standing, you know, guys. And the healthy confidence is take it or leave it, you know. So he emits the goodness. He is there. He's not imposing nothing. This is what my opinion. I really like that approach. So we have the confidence in Kardec's books. We have the confidence in we know that it is true. You know, we know it works. We know we are often. I'm often very amazed how they know. You know, what I just could dream of, you know. Anyway, but one nice thing, I think I have it from Luis Lima. Lima, he's in America in Spiritist groups. If you, maybe some of you know him, he has some nice YouTube videos. He said, when is the dark on the sun? On sun is never dark, because sun is the source of all light. So the same, if we want to be the source of light, there is no dark, you know. So be what we are carrying is important. Be the message we want to send out, you know. But of course, along the side of all those practicalities, okay, we are living in the real world, so we have to adjust. And this is all I want to say. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Okay, I can see that the time is going. It's this meeting supposed to end 90 minutes ago. And I'm sure that we all would like to, we would be ready to continue discussion, but I think that we should have some discipline also. And I think that I think if it's okay for Ingo, so in the latest Saturday of June, you will make presentation regarding activities in Germany, and I'm looking forward to hear and see what you will talk about. And I think it has been very good moments, very good discussions. And I think that at least I have to go. I will have tomorrow 2 interviews which will be shared with one esoteric YouTube channel. And I'm actually will talk about faith. And the topic what I will talk is in how to say incredible faith. so it will be funny. I will not sleep this night too much. I will prepare. It's all in the middle of the process, but it will be good. And I think that if I'm looking the agenda, sorry, I'm missing some things here. So I think we have to finalize, and we can thank each other's nice moments, good discussions, and let's share good energy for everybody. Pray for Spiritist movement and for Spiritist understanding would provide better force, better faith for people to go over these complicated times. I would want to say that it has been I have been very happy to be with you. And well, would somebody like to make final prayer for this discussion? I can do it. So let's try to relax. You can close eyes, breathe inside and outside, and be prepared to be connected with good spirits, with Jesus, with God. Jesus, we are here together, trying to make your word spread it, trying to give hope for people, trying to help other people, and also trying to improve our own imperfections. Let your help reach Spiritism in Europe, so that these people who are working with that could choose right words, right attitudes, right acts, right feelings, so that your will be fulfilled. Amen.
Thank you for inviting us.
Thanks for everything.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much.
Lovely to see you.
See you soon.
Just to remind
Bye.
everyone, our next meeting is the last Saturday of June.
All right.
Okay, sorry.
And we will start with Ingo speech. So I think, Pekka, it's one speech per meeting. You cannot afford two.
We are learning.
Yeah, we are learning. We are learning. Yeah, but spread the word. Invite everybody. So here we are just try to exchange information and find out what helps you in your country.
Okay.
That's the main thing here. And thank you very much for your time, for your knowledge, and meet you all. I hope to see you in person again.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank
Here
you.
to everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.